Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you all, and hope you're all feeling fine. Morning, Margaret, Ethel, Roz, June, Fiona, Nicola, Carol, Trisha, Viv, Sue, Karen, Kaz. Oh, you've had your jab. Oh, well done. I know you weren't looking forward to it, but you'll be fine. You will be fine. Morning, Pat, Teresa, Ginny, Catherine, Jill, Sarah, Di, Terry. You're all here. You're all here. So I'm feeling a bit arty today, hence this, which is looking very arty, don't you think? Or a bit of a mess, whichever way you look. But let's transform it today. I feel quite arty, so I'm going to be, I hope I don't go on too long because I might get carried away with this one because there's quite a lot of elements to what I wanted to achieve today. And I have in mind the lovely Jane Gill, who is design artist for Woodware. And she has come out with a couple of new stamps. Well, she's come out with quite a lot of new stamps. And these are the ones I wanted to use today, which is called Butterfly Sketch, which is this one, and Dahlia Sketch, which is this one. So I'm going to combine the two. And also I have the reinvented, if you can do such a thing, but the reinvented notched rectangle die set. So we've got the notched squares, and we have long ago had the notched rectangles, but they never quite fitted. So if you wanted to nest them down, they didn't work properly because of this notch bit. They weren't sort of a bit on the skew if, sorry. So, and they've come back in. So, and they're a really good price. So I've got all of those up on the maximumcrafts.com, and it's all under the Facebook Live section. So as I said, lots to show you and lots to play. So I hope that you've got a cup of tea and you're having a sit down and having a watch. So let's start with the basic bit. So what I've got here is a piece of watercolour card, which I have done earlier because I wanted to make sure that it dried properly. And it's been sprayed with water, both sides. And I have to say that the whole idea of this was not my idea. It was the lovely Jane Gill, who, as I said, is the designer of these lovely stamps. So it's not me at all that has come up with this, but I think my version hopefully will do her justice as well. So I've taken some of the cosmic watercolour inks, and I have just literally sprayed this piece of watercolour card with water and then dabbed a few of these on. And I have used the colours of Mighty Magenta, Lemon Burst, and not that one, Glorious Grape. So they are sort of colours that would go together-ish. And I'm just making that into a bright background. They are the ordinary watercolours, not the pearlescent ones. So that's my background. So then I'm going to take my Dahlia sketch, which is a sketch of a flower, and I want to stamp that directly onto here. And I'm going to use Distress Ink in Seedless Preserves, because I want to go along the theme again of the mauvey sort of colour here. So I'm going to take my stamping platform and I'm going to pop my piece of work in the corner there. Pop that on as well. Hold on, let's hold that into place. And then I'm going to position my flower onto there. I love these designs. I think that they are rather yummy. So I'm going to pop it around about down there because I want my butterfly to be sitting on the top. Okay, so we'll go there because we can trim this down. This is going to be too big for my whole design. So then I'm going to ink it up with my Seedless Preserves, and it's the Distress Ink, not the oxide. because I want it to be a colour, but I want it to be almost faded into the background. I don't want the emphasis to be on the flower. I want it there, but I don't want it to be in your face, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to ink up once, hopefully, she says. Let's make sure I get it all on the bits that I need. The little mini inks are ideal for that sort of thing. And then just press that down so that I've got my lily, dahlia even, in the centre there. Okay, so that's my first bit. Put that back to one side. Okay, now next I want to stamp my my butterfly onto my flower, but I want to just make sure that my distress ink is dry. So I'm just going to give it a very quick blast with a bit of heat, because I just want to try and make sure that my distress ink is as dry as possible. We'll just give that a quick go over, like that. Now, then I'm going to add my beautiful butterfly. So this is my butterfly, and my butterfly is going to sit over the top of my flower. So it's going to look a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but all will be revealed. So he's going to sit right there for the moment. So I've got my platform here, put my clear plate down again, and just position my butterfly. So it's as if he's going to be sitting, he or she is going to be sitting on top of the flower. And I want to actually emboss him with some white powder. So I'm going to make sure I use my anti-static bag and pop that all the way down onto there. And if you do get any of the Woodware one, not the Woodware, the new Crafts 2 ones, they've been made with a special type of mesh, and so that the powder doesn't go absolutely everywhere. So you simply need to, just with a pin or with a pokey tool, just prick a few little holes in it to open up the mesh. So I'm going to use my Eyes Ink clear embossing pad and pop some of that onto my butterfly sketch. Okay, so plenty of that onto there, and then straight down onto my image. Now, if you're getting a bit worried about it at this stage, do not be worried. This wonderful butterfly is going to appear. So pop that, whoops, do that up to there. And then I'm going to get some white powder, white embossing powder, and then just sprinkle that over the top so that we can find our butterfly. And again, you won't be able to see it very well, but he is there. And I'm just going to take a little bit of a brush, funny looking brush, I know, just to take it off of my flower underneath, where I don't want it really to be, because that's where, sorry, I'm having to concentrate now, so I'm having to be very quiet. Okay, so now I'm just going to set that. I don't very often do arty pieces, but I just really loved, oh, what they did with that. So I'm just indulging myself on this one. So I still need that powder in a second. But I've got so far with my butterfly now sitting on top of my flower. And now I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm going to take now some vellum. So vellum is available in all sorts of things, but we've got some new vellum in, which is nice because it is the pure white. And sometimes when they've called it pure white, it leaves something to be desired, in all honesty. But this one is pure white. And so I'm now going to stamp my butterfly again with the white powder. So the embossing pad and the white powder onto my piece of white vellum. Obviously, I need to take my anti-static and I need to really pop lots of powder onto there to make sure that I take off any of the fingerprints that might be on such a thing. As if, eh? As if. So I'm just going to stamp up now my lovely butterfly again with the Eyes Ink embossing pad. Straight down onto my piece of vellum. Like so. Peel that off and then pop the white embossing powder onto that. Oh, squeaky chair again. It's those COVID pounds. They're piling on, aren't they, eh? They are in this house anyway. Boredom, isn't it? There we are. There's our beautiful butterfly. I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't, but let's make him come alive. Pop this powder back. Like so. Whoops. And take my gun again and just... Now, when it's vellum, the powder will take very quickly. So it won't take very long at all just to do. You can probably see that just changes very quickly. And you don't want to burn it, so you want to go over it very quickly in order to get that to set. Okay, so there's our beautiful butterfly now with the white vellum. Now I want to colour my vellum and I'm going to colour it on the top of the surface. Now sometimes to get a paler look you would colour the vellum from behind, but I want to colour it because I want it to be quite something. So I'm going to colour it on top and I'm going to use some of my Koi colouring brush pens. So these are Sakura and they are blendable brush pens. So I'm going to just start to show you how I achieved this, but you'll be pleased to hear that I have already done one because I'm sure you don't want to watch quite all this colouring. Now it's quite forgiving because you have got the raised part of the embossed powder. So if you do get your pens onto that white embossed bit, it's not too much of a problem, but try your best not to, obviously. And I'm going up about halfway with my darker colour. It comes in a set of 6, I think it is, 6 pens. There are a few left and they are on the website. So I'm just sort of stroking it in. And obviously any other colouring medium, but I wanted it to be bright. I want to show my beautiful butterfly off in all its glory. So gone sort of halfway, and then I'm going to take this sort of slightly lighter colour and I'm going to continue that to the point. And so, as I said, it blends beautifully, just colouring that in. You could obviously do it just in the one colour if you prefer, but I think it looks nice. I'm just picking up where the last colour left over to just blend it together and just fill in the rest of my wing. Beautiful wing. So I'm not going to get carried away with that because, as I said, I have done another one already, but that's how we would continue to colour it. And I will miss out a couple of bits. So if you can you see that this bit here sweeps right down almost like a tail? I'm not going to colour that bit in on there. I am going to colour it in on this bit, and all will become clear when I do it. So it is, hold on, let's take the darker colour first. It is this piece here. So I'm actually colouring that directly onto my page. I want that to show up, and I'm just going to do it in the one colour. I've got quite a nice nib on these pens because you can sort of put a bit of an extra pressure on it. It's quite controllable, which is quite nice. Okay, so I've just got that one tiny bit there. Now, let's pretend we've done that. And with the magic that it is, lo, I have done that. Now, vellum can sometimes be a bit of a trouble to get actually stuck onto any surface really without showing behind. And so what I've done is I've got a piece of the sticky, double-sided sticky, and I'm just going to cut that out. So let me show you what I mean. First of all, I'm going to peel off my backing so that I've got sticky there, so that piece is no good. And I'm just going to pop my butterfly onto that piece there and just use that, just push that down so that it is now completely stuck onto my background there. Okay, then I'm going to take my scissors, and I've just realised my favouriteest scissors have gone walkabout. I think the gnomes have been in here. What do you think? So you can see that I have missed out this little bit of tail here, and also therefore it means that this bit is sort of on its own. So I'm going to cut these out sort of separately but also together. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to cut round the outside of my white line. So this bit comes right down there to a point, and then this bit like that. Obviously, I'm not going to worry about all of the little wispy bits because they will be showing up on my main piece anyway. So all these, like these little wispy bits here, not worrying about that. You might wonder why I've got ribbon around the handle of my scissors, and the reason for that is that I can see them then. I can see what, with a black handle amongst all my other tools, I can't see them so well, but if I've got bits of ribbon on it, I can easily pick it up. So there you go. So, and I'm going to cut off I'm cutting off his body, so don't look whilst I cut it off. Oh, poor little chap. Okay, and then just round that bit there. So these bits we can chuck away. And we can bring our lovely pattern back in. Now, because we've got vellum sticky all on the other side there, we're going to be easily able to stick this down. But rather, whoops, oh, now I've got a magnet stuck to it. That'll serve me right for putting it back away where I should do. I'm just going to trim off this bottom bit because that is going to have to go on separately. Okay. So my bottom little bit here, peel off the back of this. Whoops. If I can get hold of it, we will anyway. Oh, there we go. And then just put that absolutely over the bit that was already there. And then let's just fit our beautiful butterfly. If we can get hold of the back in. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, come here. Need a pokey tool to grab hold of it, I think, don't you? That's better. So just peel that off. And because they've obviously got sticky all the way around, that's not going to be a problem to stick it. So I just want to measure it up, and the best way to do it is to measure it up from the body and pop the little bits. Gonna have to be quiet whilst I do that. All into place. There you go. There. Our beautiful, beautiful butterfly is now very proud on top. And it's stuck down beautifully all the way because it was sticky from every single little bit of point. Okay, so now we're going to make it into a bit of a frame. So I'm going to do it onto an A5 card. So this is my card blank, and obviously that's too big, so we know that. But I'm going to just first cut out the frame, pop that to one side, and I'm going to use my notched rectangles. So I've gone for a mauve frame because obviously my card is predominantly mauve there. And I've used the largest of the dies. So I've taken the very largest one to cut out my darkest colour. And then the next one down, and I've chosen that from coconut white. So then I've missed 3 dies to give it a border. And I've chosen the next 2 down. So that is like me saying that I have got number 5 and number 6. So first of all, I'm going to take this die and pop that onto my, just make sure I've got it around the right way. Yeah, I have. I'm going to pop that onto my white piece because I want to cut the frame with that. And if you see what I mean with this now, that this has been so well designed now that these points marry up with the points here, so it's really easy to get it straight and into a frame, which I think is lovely, because the other one changed as it got further down. You couldn't do it quite so well. So just going to tape that into position and then run that through my machine. I'm glad you were willing me on with the tape. Thank you for that. So now I've got my very thin frame there. So my thin white one, like that. And then I take the next size down of my notched rectangles, which is this one. So it's a very thin 1/4 of an inch difference all the way around. Take that one and pop that one back. And then bring my card back in. So I need to pop that into place so that I can see where that one will be. Like that. And then if I pop this one in the centre, and again leaving that even border all the way round, I can then tape this into position. Carefully remove this one. And then run that through as well. The wider border that you want, the smaller the inner dies are, if you see what I mean. But I just wanted a narrow border because I want to show off my butterfly more than anything. Okay, so that's taken all that off, and carefully remove my tape, and I will put this back with all my lovely dies. So now I've got my lovely selection there. So you've got the smaller ones that are ideal for sort of like banners, for sentiments, that type of thing. And then the bigger ones for the frames or just the backgrounds, whatever. And then I've got 2 of those as well already, haven't I? I've got another card set up already for that, which is great. So I'm going to then pop my white frame onto my mauve and then just put a bit of glue on there to stick those 2 together. Oops. So we had a fantastic workshop with everybody yesterday, and I'm pleased to say that people are showing the makes from one of the workshops last week as well, which was a different one. And we've got one more workshop for February, which is next week. So then after that, the people that have been doing those lovely workshops will be able to show us all what they've been doing as well. Talented people, but the main thing is we all have fun, and that's what we like. We like a bit of fun, do we not? Let's just hope that Boris tomorrow his roadmap, or whatever he's going to call us, let's hope it is a good roadmap, because we need to know what the way out is, eh? So I've got my card popped down like that. Now, obviously, this card piece needs to be trimmed, and I'm going to use one of my dies in order to trim it. But I just want to see whereabouts it needs to be trimmed, so I can take that off to one side in a minute. So it's just a case of where do I want my beautiful flower to be, which I think is probably about there. And so in order to do that, I will take, let's see, I think about the 3rd one down. Yeah, the 3rd one down, which will make sure that the picture isn't going to show too much through. And I think that will look nice like that. So I'm going to pop that into position like that. And tape that down. And I'm going to pop a piece of paper over the top of it, just in case, because as I've got the vellum, I don't want the the mats, get it right in a minute, the plates of my machine to mark it in any way. So I'm going to pop that down. Stay stuck. And I'm just going to pop that piece of paper over the top. So it won't cut it, it'll just stop it from marking. Won't cut the spare piece of paper, I should have said. Okay, so we've now got our beautiful butterfly cut out from there. Take those pieces off. Put that back on my card there, and you can now see that when I pop that over there, that's going to fit beautifully. So let's put this onto our base and let's work out where we want it. It should be fairly central, which I think I would be right in saying would be about there. Looking good. Now, just thought, I think I want a sentiment to go on there. So with the beautiful butterfly, no, the butterfly sketch, we've got a bit of you always, the word sparkle, and to brighten your day. And I think just a word saying to brighten your day is quite nice myself. So I'm just going to pick that up. And I'm just going to check where that will show, because I don't want to do it half on and half off. So if I was to put that there, and I was to stamp that down here, I think. Down there it will go. So I'm going to stamp it with the Seedless Preserve. So we're keeping to the theme of the mauves and the pinks all the time. I could put it, and probably will regret not putting it in my stamping platform, but I'm just going to pop that into there. There we are, to brighten your day. So we now need to attach this, and in order to do that, because it's watercolor card, and because it's, well, actually it's not warped, but it is slightly not completely flat. It's pretty good flat, and I picked up a tip of that, of that if you want to put some colour onto watercolour card, and we say spray the paper first. If you spray both sides, although obviously you're only going to put the watercolour on one side, it actually seems to not warp quite so much. So I found that was really quite helpful, and therefore this hasn't indeed warped that much. But nevertheless, I'm going to actually tape it down with double-sided tape rather than glue, because it will make sure that I've got a really edge-to-edge flat surface here. So just popping that in. Do you know, Julie's just said I could frame it. I have to tell you that I have never thought of framing any of my work before, but I was given some picture frames at Christmas, and I did a stencil from Sweet Poppy. Not that you've seen it. And it was done in a sort of a special arty way, if you see what I mean, with special bits and pieces. And I loved it so much, I framed it. And I can't believe I've done such a thing, because it's so rare that I actually do something like that. But yeah, this does lend itself to being a frame, doesn't it? Eh? Just love it. Just love it. So there's my work of art, or artwork at least, onto the base of my card, flat onto my card. And you can see what I mean by that tape. Having popped that on, my now slightly warped piece of watercolor card is now completely flat, which is great. But I do want to put some good old foam onto the back of here, and I'm going to use my 3mm one. It's looking a bit like a bomb's hit my desk here. Let me get these to one side. Hold on, it's no good. We can't work like that, can we? So let's just clear the decks. Right, having cleared the decks. So I'm just going to pop some of this onto here. So obviously, because I've got notched corners, I'm just going to have to do the main pieces first, and then pop just a little bit into my notched pieces. You don't want to leave it out, because otherwise it will sink. And we don't need a sinky notched corner, do we? So I'm just breaking off a little bit and popping that into those corner bits. So I hope I have gone on a bit extra today, so I do apologise for that. But I just really enjoyed doing this one, and I thought maybe you might quite like to see how it is. I didn't show you all the bits of making the backgrounds, and maybe we'll do that another day with the watercolour inks. But for today, you've got this beautiful butterfly and dahlia, and maybe even your frames with your notched rectangles. And as I said, they're all available over on the maximumcrafts.com website under the Facebook Live section, which doesn't make a lot of sense when I'm doing YouTube, but there you go. I think you know by now. I will put up the link afterwards as well. I haven't cleared the nozzle of that. So let's bring in our card. And now pop my frame as square, well, as square, as rectangle as I can. I can't see over the top of it, so I hope I'm getting it straight because I really can't see what I'm doing. I think that's fairly straight, is it not? We'll go for that. We'll go for that. Let's press that down. And there we are. Something to brighten your day, eh? It's brightened mine by making it for you, and it's particularly brightened it by the fact that you're actually here. So I really love you passing by. Now, my what are we saying about the tape? Hold on. Yeah, it's double-sided. The tape I do. Hold on, if I can see it, I will grab it for you. That's the tape that I use for putting double-sided on. So it's double-sided Scotch tape. That's the one that I use, permanent double-sided tape. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed the card today. Now, let me tell you what's coming up. So if you have got an early lunch today, because mine's all planned for an early lunch, you've got lovely John Lockwood on Hochanda at 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it's really, really good because he's going to be showing you lots of techniques. He's been working with different products. I don't think there's really particularly anything new that we haven't seen before, but there's going to be some lovely products that he's using and showing you how to get just a little bit more out of the stash that you may already have or you may want. So do check into that, and bits and pieces that he's using is on my website as well. I will not be here on Wednesday. Normally I will be saying to you, I'll see you on Wednesday, and I'm afraid I won't be here on Wednesday, but I'll be back on Friday to make up for it. So I shall look forward to seeing you on Friday if you can make it. That's at 10 o'clock, but you will be mentioned. It will all be mentioned about that later on, okay? It looks like you like my card. I like my card as well. I think I might even send that to myself if you could have such a thing, because I just think that looks really different, but very pretty. So yeah. So thank you very much for joining me. Have a great day. I hope that the sun's shining. It's trying to here, so I hope it continues to shine and it shines on you. And look after yourselves, look after your families, as you're always doing. And I'll catch up with you again on Friday this week. Okay? Take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye.